right, folks, let's go ahead and get started. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today for a really exciting customer story. With me, I have Luke Griffith from CDW. He is the customer experience specialist at CDW with over a decade of experience working with CDW, and he is going to share with us their VividCharts reporting story. Thank you so much for joining us, Luke, and I will turn it over to you.
All right, thanks, Ksenia. Yeah, so hi, everyone. Excited to be here today. I'm Luke, and we're here to talk about our game-changing solution that's transforming how CDW handles business reviews. So as Ksenia said, my experience in the IT services industry has probably led me to encounter some of the same problems and challenges that you might have come across in your experience, especially when it comes to business reviews and reporting. So today I want to talk about how our approach to business reviews, powered by VividCharts, has really revolutionized that process. It makes it more efficient, standardized, and scalable, and ultimately more valuable for our customers. All right. So we'll jump in here. We'll talk about the problem that we're trying to solve for. So business review has been a pain point for many organizations, definitely including my own, for several reasons. So they take too long to create. Sometimes they can take several hours, depending on the level of complexity, which can be really frustrating for anyone that's involved in that process. That manual creation process is really prone to human error. So we have issues like formatting mistakes, spelling errors, and then obviously there's the data problem too. So incorrect data that's outdated. In ServiceNow, you're running reports that use a lot of conditions, and so it's easy to maybe forget a condition or use the wrong condition when you're doing reports. So if we can get rid of all those issues, we have a much better experience. The other thing is that organizations might be lacking standardization. I know that we definitely were. So that makes the comparisons and the analysis really difficult. And customers also have really inconsistent experiences because of that. So for us, many of our CSMs, it was kind of the Wild West. They were doing their own thing and creating decks that were far different from each other. So that experience is less than ideal for our customers. Another issue is scaling business reviews becomes really challenging as your customer count goes up. And adding headcount to your workforce has a really limited ROI, and it gets really expensive. So we needed to find some automation opportunities. We got a lot more value out of that, and it's really a must if you're really trying to work on that bottom line. At some point, you can't just keep throwing more employees at that problem. You got to find ways to automate and become more efficient. And that's definitely what VividCharts has helped us do. And then lastly, everyone just hates creating our business reviews, at least in the old way that we did it. So, it's horrible working in Excel. It's horrible working in PowerPoint. We all hate that. It's tedious and frustrating. And ultimately, it just kind of leads to reduced job satisfaction. So we were tasked with how can we fix this? We don't want people to work on things that they don't like doing, and especially when we find an opportunity to automate that. So when I had this opportunity to kind of use this new tool, I was really excited about it. I wanted to try to solve that problem for my colleagues. So I just want to show this real quick. I know this is a little bit of an eye chart, hard to see. This is what a business review process looked like before we implemented VividCharts. And you can see how it could be really time consuming. There's a lot of steps involved here, which is pretty problematic. So if we look at this third column here, this is the area where we were doing a lot of manual preparation. So our customer success team had to look at a sample template, and often that was old and outdated, wasn't great, didn't look very good. And that's how they started. And then they'd have to run reports inside of ServiceNow, or build their own reports if they didn't have the reports that they needed. Then they'd have to export all that data into Excel, tweak it, and create those charts in Excel, which don't look the greatest. And then they'd have to move that over to PowerPoint and build up that deck. So there was a lot of manual work going on, and it took hours to make one business review for our customers. And I can tell you I used to be on the CS team here at CDW, so I can tell you from my own experience as a CSM, that process was horrible. It was definitely the least favorite part of the job for me. I dreaded it every time I had to do it. And when my boss's boss came to me and was like, "Hey, Luke, what do you think about trying this new tool called VividCharts? And let's try to automate this stuff." I was all in and ready to go because I did not want to spend another hour working on business reviews. So if we look at the current map today, you can see that there's a lot fewer steps. And in the future, I'm hoping to remove even more of these. So all those preparation steps in that third column are eliminated. The step now to download a deck takes our CSMs less than a minute, and they could spend all that time previously spent on creating that content. Now they can spend that time analyzing that content and providing that human touch to our customers. Additionally, we're really close to publishing our decks to our customer-facing portal, and that's going to automate even more steps out of the process here. And the customers will be able to self-service those business reviews. So this will ensure that every single one of our customers gets a business review, which is really important to us. It allows us to be 100% scalable. And in the past, we've really struggled being able to create enough business reviews for our customers. There just wasn't enough time in the day, really. So now we have that 100% automated and ready to go. So I wanted to show you a couple of sample slides, and we won't really go into the details of the actual content, but I just wanted to kind of talk about the philosophy behind the design that I came up with here, and maybe it will help kind of give you some ideas for your own. So we designed it in a way that would feel really intuitive for a customer to consume on their own. So to ensure that scalability, we wanted our decks to be mostly consumed on demand in like a self-service format. We want them to be able to just go on our website, pull down that data, browse through it, and if they have questions or they want more of a deep dive, they can request that. So our slides have these red headers, which fits with our brand, and the headers simply just ask questions, and then they're accompanied by a data visualization that provides that answer. But some of the slides have helpful text boxes to kind of add more context to the visualization that they're looking at. So we don't simply want to provide just a number, we want to provide more context and more of a story to each of these slides. And then we also use some of our content to help drive action from our customers. So in this example, we're providing data insights on how often they're using our portal, so who's using it and what they're using it for. But then more importantly, we're using this as a reminder that all these capabilities exist within our portal, which they can use to leverage to work better with CDW. And so we're really just pushing portal adoption here. And again, with that portal adoption, we get more scalability and efficiency and just a better overall user experience. So I challenge you when you're creating these slides and you're creating your templates to not only just think about like, hey, what data can I show my customer? Also think about like, is there a way that we can drive action with these decks? So on this slide, you can see this is an example of one of those text blocks that we have here to help a customer kind of consume the data that they're looking at here. So it's just talking, in this case, it's talking about like, hey, if you have an unusual spike, that might be a problematic event that happened, and it might be worth kind of taking a deeper dive into. Some of our other context blocks have benchmarks in there. So it'll say, the average CDW customer looks like this. So they can kind of compare themselves. So they're not getting just that number. They can kind of see like, is our environment healthier than, say, the average CDW customer, for example. And then here you can see an example of how we provide those benchmarks. So like the success rate for our changes is around 95%. So in this case, this customer is at 99.5%, so that's great. So they kind of just measure themselves versus other of our clients. And also we want to remind customers of capabilities within our portal. So in this top right example, we have a reminder that they can use temporary alert suppressions. This is a really important feature that we have in our portal. It saves us a lot of engineering time, and it also just keeps reporting clean. And it also reduces the amount of notifications that we're sending to our customers. So it's really important that we use it whenever maintenance is taking place. So this is just, again, another call to action, remind them of these capabilities that exist. So it's just a little bit about, what some of our deck looks like. So here's where we're at today, and the results so far are really awesome. So we've automated 2 templates, and we have a lot more in the pipeline ready to go. We have over 60 beautiful data visualizations, and we've saved over 5,000 hours of human labor so far just in 1 quarter. And that translates to about $2.6 million of work. So yeah, I checked that math, $2.6 million per year, I should say. So I checked that math multiple times because I was like, there's no way that this could be saving us that much money. And it does. I mean, that's the kind of power that automation has. So that was the objective data. And I want to just talk a little bit about the subjective results, because I think that kind of like how the feel of our customers and my colleagues, their feelings are definitely also something we want to try to measure. And it's been really encouraging. So my colleagues are really happy. They've given us some praises like, it's been awesome. We have a lot of relief from tedious work and it's so helpful. And then our customers are offering to buy some drinks already. So some really good positive early feedback, and we're excited to keep going. So our roadmap is pretty packed. So our journey is far from over. So as we navigate throughout the future, we are unwavering in our commitment to continuous iteration. So our customer experience team is always working to refine the automation process. We're adding in new features, we're enhancing existing ones, and then we're trying to optimize that user experience. So our dedication to iterative development ensures that this solution remains cutting edge and it's always adaptable, and it's always adapting to business needs that are changing. And we understand that the key to unlocking that full potential of automation lies in integration of data from various sources. So one thing that we are really looking at exploring over the next couple of quarters is adding in more data sources. So we're looking at things like ServiceNow Service Graph connectors, integrations with other partners. So Qualtrics has a integration solution with ServiceNow, for example. So that lets us add even more data to ServiceNow, which we can then and more use cases as well. And then automation is not confined to a single aspect of your organization. So our roadmap includes exploring new use cases beyond just business reviews. So this is kind of where we started. We're proving out that, hey, this is really awesome. This really, really works. And so now we want to look at what else can we use this for? And we're looking at a wider range of business processes and reporting to really kind of amplify the impact that VividCharts has for us. And then we also understand that any value from software lies in its ability to meet unique needs of its users. So we're really receptive to feedback from our clients and our colleagues. Their input is really invaluable to us, and we're really dedicated to continue to tailor our templates based on their suggestions and requirements. And then a big piece of this is user training. So we're really committed to providing that training and support that my colleagues need to use this tool, and for our customers to consume the data that they see here. So we want to ensure that they have all the resources that they need. So to kind of just summarize this, we're going to educate our users, we're going to focus on adoption and enhance our data pool to give us more opportunities to build more use cases out. So we're really, really excited about that. A lot of opportunities in the future here for us. So I just want to talk about kind of like what's next for you and your organization, and a little bit about the steps that I took to kind of get to where I'm at now. So the journey that we've taken in automating our business reviews is not just a story about what we've achieved, but also just an invitation for you to explore how the automation can drive positive change within your organization. So we've seen that the benefits are pretty tangible, and there's huge potential here. So I want to give you just some steps about what you can take to kind of start your own journey. So that first step for any automation initiative is trying to understand where your organization's data resides. So, data is the lifeblood of this automation and this tool. So kind of identifying those various systems and platforms and repositories where all your data lives is really important. And then with that knowledge, you'll be better equipped to kind of plan out how to extract that and centralize that data. so you can start to build out some templates. So ServiceNow offers a plethora of integrations. I mentioned before they have the Service Got connectors. That's where you can get a lot of technical data, for example, but they also have tons of integrations with other partners. So I gave the Qualtrics example. That's one of probably dozens. There's so many out there. So depending on which vendors you use, where your data lives, there's probably a solution that already exists that can, quickly help you get that data into ServiceNow. So I would, explore the integration options available to your organization and see which ones make sense for you and where you can streamline your data collection. For step 2, I would identify that first automation opportunity. Delve into your organization's reporting landscape, determine which teams or individuals within your organization are responsible for creating those reports, what they're used for, how frequently are they generated, and just build out that process map. So what does that look like today? And then that kind of lets you see those bottlenecks and the inefficiencies, and you'll be able to identify opportunities where it's like, hey, that makes a lot of sense. We should start here, start small. Let's automate one small thing, and then let's keep going. So once you kind of have that insight into your data resources, find that kind of phase 1, I like to call it, where you can start. So something manageable, well-defined, and have that be kind of your test bed for this. So by starting small, you can demonstrate that value of the automation to your stakeholders. You can get that feedback and keep iterating and keep going. And then, as I mentioned before, the feedback is really important. We use ServiceNow surveys to survey our internal users. We also use it for external users. So we have a survey built out just for our business reviews. So we want to know, hey, is this helping you work more efficiently? Is this data valuable to you? And we can collect all that data and report on it within ServiceNow. So that's pretty great. So use that to make adjustments and add functionality as you need. And then kind of lastly, as you see success and you start that first project and it goes well and you see that value, continue to just add on to it and use that as momentum to continue to build future, initiatives and templates. And also one thing that my team is really focused on is celebrating whenever you have those successes. So I think in the past, in my experience, we're really bad at stopping and celebrating when something goes well. We get too busy and we just move on to the next thing. So we're trying to really celebrate, like, hey, we did this thing. It saved us tons of time. Our users love it. This is great. Let's talk about it. Let's tell everyone that we're using this. So when you have a template that goes well, and you're proving some value to your organization, certainly take time to write that down and talk about it. So these proactive steps kind of help you get prepared to harness the power of VividCharts, and you'll be able to start to drive that change throughout your organization, and ultimately achieve the efficiency and the success that you desire. You can start to relieve yourself from a lot of tedious manual work. So I am ready for some questions if you have any, Ksenia.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, first of all, Luke, for sharing your success story with us and kind of letting us know some of the insights that you got from working through VividCharts. I will go ahead and open up the QA. There should be a QA button at the bottom of your screen. So definitely please ask away. All right, so here's a question. Do you plan on adding additional slides to your QBRs? And if so, what additional data points would you be interested in showing your customers?
Yeah, so we just added, or we are updating it this week to show end of life data. So that was a new data point that we had added to our ServiceNow instance. So that's really important. So we can now start to do life cycle planning with our customers. We didn't have any of that data before. It was all manual and like really labor intensive, and it involved our engineers doing a lot of manual work. So we now have that data available to us, and we're adding slides for that. So that's just one example. Another example is we are looking at creating technical slide decks. So we want to be able to do these technical deep dives with our customers. Again, automating a lot of work rather than, so the previous work we automated was from our CS team. Now we want to automate some of that work from our engineering teams. So collecting that really, technical performance data and building slides out to show customers that. That's one example. And again, just looking at our use cases, not just adding slides, but adding entire new templates is something that we're looking at.
Nice, that's awesome. We have another question here. Are you marketing your automated QBRs to customers and prospects as a value add of your service?
Yeah, so we are definitely doing that in pre-sales. We have a little marketing video. It's like a minute and a half long, where we're showcasing kind of the power of automation here. And I know that a lot of our pre-sales customers are asking, like, what is your business review process? What does that look like? And before, the story wasn't great to tell them, and now we're pretty excited about telling that story. And we've had a lot of positive feedback from that, and from our sellers. So they're really excited about it too.
Awesome. And I actually have a question for your current customers. Now that they see a standardized QBR every quarter, do you feel like what's the value that they've been telling you that they've been receiving from a standardized view?
Yeah, so a lot of them just never got a business review in the first place. So this is kind of their new beginning, and so that's been positive. We just started rolling out really in July, so we're still working on that adoption and trying to iron out like that process on our CS team to making that a thing for all of our customers. So we'll probably get some better feedback early next year. But the feedback from the customers that have received it so far, it's really positive. Mostly it's just about like, hey, we really like the way that this looks. We're getting data that we care about. They've had some things that they want to see, which we're working on. So it's, getting that feedback from them and continuing to iterate and add to it as we go.
That's really, really awesome. I'll just give it another minute here or so for questions. If we don't get any more questions, Luke, thank you so, so much for joining us today. We love working with CDW. We love this story. So really appreciate you joining us for real time. If anyone on this call has any additional questions about what Luke has presented or any questions for the VividCharts team, please feel free to reach out to us. We'll also have some post real-time content being sent out via email with some contact information there as well. So I really appreciate everyone for joining today. I will go ahead and end this session here, but thanks again, Luke. Really appreciate it.
Sounds good. Thanks, Ksenia.